Good afternoon. I'm Dan Sullivan, the co-owner and winemaker here at Rose Hall Run in Prince Edward County. Um, welcome to our place. It's a little atypically warm as we're known as one of Ontario's coolest wine regions, and we're standing here in my north block on the north-facing slope of my 548 clone Dijon clone Chardonnay. So as you can see, um, the soils here in Prince Edward County are extremely rocky. And this is pretty typical of everything for sure in the west side of the county. It gets a little bit more mixed in the east side, but out here in Hillier, the soil types are actually, I won't say uniform, but they all have that underlying calcare limestone, which is the parent material from which all great things in the county emanate. So if you look down here, you can see that we've got lots of sort of rocky fragments in the soil, and there's a lot of I won't call it debate, but can you really taste minerality? And I have to say that with this here, absolutely you can. I think that that's one of the underlying hallmarks of the wines, particularly Chardonnay here in Prince Edward County, is that it has a real freshness and tension to it. That largely comes from the climate, and I think one of the big defining features here in Prince Edward County is something that we're not all that far from right now, and that's the lake. And so what you have is you have a lot of very different gradations of heat units in the county based on the distance from the lake. And oddly enough, the further north you go inland, the hotter it gets in the daytime. So we're sort of mama bear. We're not too hot. We're not too cold. We're just in between. And we're about a mile and a half from the lake here, and about a mile in that direction. So we're down in the southwest corner here. So as you can see, we've got a lot of old seabed limestone. This dates from the Ordovician era. So it's a little bit older than some of the limestones, for example, that you'll find in Burgundy, which I think are a little bit more recent than this one is. And I have people ask me how many truckloads of rocks we dug in, and we never place rocks in here. They always seem to find their way to the surface, but over time these wear, and that's what's created the soil. And the soil itself is actually not hugely doesn't have a great deal of depth. In this place where we're standing here, because it's on a sloped area, it's kind of settled into the tree line here a little bit. So there's been a little bit of sheet erosion over the years. We're probably sitting on about 3 to 3.5 feet of soil right here. But in most of the vineyard, it ranges anywhere from 16 inches to about this depth, or even maybe 4 feet. But that's pretty much it. So this area of Prince Edward County was called Hungry Point, and it comes by its name honestly. It's extremely dry. In fact, Prince Edward County is one of the drier areas in Ontario. And if you take a look on a day like today, you can see that a lot of the clouds are moving north of us and south of us over the lake. And what's happening is there's a very large column of warm air that's coming up off the land here. And this section just west of us is the first land that wind will hit, coming basically from Burlington Bay and Niagara all the way out here. So what happens is, as it's picking up a head of steam with moisture, it all that latent energy and moisture that's being held in the clouds doesn't really release itself until it gets further inland over the county. So although we're surrounded on 3 sides or even 4 sides in Prince Edward County by water, at least the western half of it is extremely dry. And the saving grace, though, is that we have this clay soil here, and clay is a very, very small particle size. And what that means is it's able to hold the moisture in a lot more easily than sand, because it has about 10,000 times the surface area of what sand does. So what that allows for is it allows for the moisture, if the roots can get to it, and the micro roots, it's a good reservoir of water. The other thing is that the limestone that is underneath it is all fractured. So although it's a very heavy soil in and of itself, the underlying material is cracked, and so what that means is that the water drainage is quite good. And there's an old saying that grapes like to see water, but they don't like to stand in it. So in this particular instance, I think that we've got a really nice situation for especially growing Chardonnay.